Hey, how's it going? This is Josh from Books by Josh, and this is episode 51 of the Books by Josh audio immersion. This podcast episode is titled How. It's a continuation of last week's episode, which was titled Why. So, in this episode, I'm going to tackle how to do things, how to find your voice, how to make your dreams happen, how to reach your potential clients, customers, whatever you want to call them. So, let's dive into this episode. So, last week I talked about why. Why do you want to start a business? Why do you work so hard to hustle, this and that? So now that you know your why, now you can figure out your how to do it. So you have to find your voice, your platform. How are you going to reach these clients? Are you going to do products, services? So now let's talk about how you find it. If your mission statement is to help people by teaching them things, you can do YouTube videos showing them how to cook, how to clean a deck, how to do anything. And that's how you teach them. But if you want to create a product that solves a need, your how is by creating a product. And when you create a product, you have to go through a lot more things, and I'm going to touch on that in a bit. So you have to figure out your voice, how to reach your customers, whether it's through online classes, Skillshare, YouTube, podcasts. You have to figure out what you want to do. You might not be good. You might be shy. You never know what's going to happen. So you have to try and see what works for you. Because it's one thing to say, hey, I want to be a YouTuber. But if you do it and you sit there and you're like, wow, I don't like being in front of a camera, you understand that's not your platform. So you have to figure out what your platform is by trial and error. My platforms are video, voice, and written word. Because I was afraid of public speaking, but I got over it, and now I do everything because it's fun for me. So after you find your voice, you have to come up with an action plan on how to do it. And what do I mean by action plan? So let's go back to if you want to create a product. If you want to create a product, you have to do manufacturing of said product. If it has to be manufactured, even make a t-shirt, custom t-shirt, you have to do a manufacturing of it. It doesn't just happen. You can do it yourself. You can do DBH, designed by humans, things of that nature. So you have to find out the cost of the shirts, and you have to come up with the best cost with the best quality. So you have to find the middle ground. And then you have to find the price. So you have to shop around. If you want to sell an ebook or a actual book, you have to find out where you want to sell it. If you want to do KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, you can do that. But if you're doing the Select program, you can only distribute your book on Amazon. Then people like me who buy most of my books on Google Play Books won't be able to read it. So you have to figure things out like that. And so it's all action plan by finding out information of the type of the line of work that you want to get into. If you want to do landscaping, you have to figure out, is it cheaper to rent the equipment or to buy used? You have to figure out all these costs and write them down because you need to generate a profit. If not, you're not really a business. Because if you're losing money for a couple of years, you're going to be out of business. So now you have the action plan. You have to have a plan of action now. It's it's the same thing, but so you have to have the cost, and then you have to have how much you want to sell your things for. Then even if you're not selling anything, you're doing YouTube videos, you have to figure out what equipment you need. So YouTube, honestly, they say you just use your phone or camera and record. It's true, but you have to make some basic investments. Selfie stick, if you're being cheap or if you can't afford like a gimbal, you can use a selfie stick. For now, if you're doing vlogs, if you're using your phone, that way it stabilizes a bit better than in your hand. while walking, and you get a better shot. And also microphone, because audio is a big component in video. I tell this all the time to people, like family members, friends. They ask me if I can tell them one thing. What do they need to share video? Audio. And we did an independent film many years ago, and we used phones to capture audio. It was so much hard work editing the audio after that because we were on a tight budget. Yeah, I don't want you guys going through that headache in the post production. So back to YouTube. So basic mic and selfie stick or small tripod, and you could shoot videos. Of course, you could get lights later, whiteboards, all that stuff comes later. Green screen, video effects. That's the main. That's the what you need. If you want to be a baker, you have to get the pots, the pans, things of that nature. And you also might need licenses. So you have to check with your state and local laws about selling baked goods from the home. So you have to do your research before you can do anything. So now that's part of the action plan phase. You also have to now start marketing. How do you reach your customers? This will either make or break you because you can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about it, it won't matter. So you have to market yourself. And when I say marketing, people hate marketing. They think telemarketing. First thing you hear marketing, oh, what? I gotta call everybody. I gotta do all that. I gotta throw ads up. No and yes. You have to run. You might have to pay for paid marketing depending on what you're doing. You have to leverage social media. You have to leverage word of mouth, friends and family. Let them sell it for you. I sold more physical books because of word of mouth. Friends and family tell their friends and family. And guess what? I sold more because of it. And that's what it's about, marketing. When I worked in Westchester, we had one customer one night, and we were very close. He was knocking. I let him in. I said, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Yo, I just need a charger." Got him a charger for his phone. We just sat there talking, and that man honestly brought me at least 40 or 50 customers. And those 40 or 50 customers brought me more customers because of word of mouth. And I still touch that man to this day because word of mouth will help you in the community. And that's the main thing. We took over an AT&T store in Westchester that was closed down by the marshal. The guy ran away, and our the store's reputation was in the hole. There was days in the beginning that we had not even one customer come in. We had a hot dog eating contest in the back, and nobody walked in for like 3 hours because the reputation was so bad. So we worked hard, and our marketing was we gave away free pens that we made on 4-imprint with AT&T logo and our number on it, and things like that. We had raffles. We had to invest in advertising to bring that store reputation back up, and we had hundreds of customers coming every day. We moved locations to a store that was 4 times as big with a basement, everything because we got so heavy in traffic because of our marketing. Word of mouth will make or break your business if you're brick and mortar, but even if you're online, you need word of mouth also because it's powerful. The MF CEO, he goes in his early episodes, if you enjoyed this episode, leave me a review on iTunes. But if you want us to grow, tell two of your friends to listen. And it's the word of mouth that drives business, no matter what. So, if you want to do online advertising, you can run Facebook ad, Instagram ad. I don't know, Twitter has ads, things like that, and LinkedIn ads. It all depends on your platform. But You also have to learn SEO if you're doing blogs, YouTube videos, anything online. You have to have SEO, search engine optimization. You want to be first on one of the first on these platforms that you're on. One of my blog posts is number one in Google for Martin Lawrence. I did a philosophy post on Martin Lawrence when he said, "Gina, the man who sleeps on the floor can never fall out of bed." And that's number one. Whenever you search from any of those terms, I come up. I have a couple other posters in the first or second page of Google, and SEO is big. I don't use hot words or anything like that. I just write and write until I can't write anymore. And that's how I get my SEO, because I'm just writing and I use a lot of words. Eventually something sticks, but you have to figure out what you're going to use for online, and you have to leverage it. As a writer, I use, for like short stories and poems, I put them on writing.com. Free advertisement. If they like my stuff, they can go on my site. Writing.com is like the number one thing, because for writers, you could put short stories, books, everything there, and people can read your stuff, review it, and comment. And then for my poetry, I also put it on allpoetry.com, because allpoetry.com, you can do competitions, but it's for poets. And you get more exposure as a writer there. And I also go on Tumblr and Goodreads, because I'm an author. You have to leverage the social media that's fitted for your niche. I hate saying niche because for your passion. Okay? So that's how you reach the customers. And one last point that I didn't even write down is how to stay motivated through all this. Because in the beginning, it's going to suck. You need to stay motivated, and the only way to stay motivated is your why has to be strong enough. And if you didn't hear episode 50, you have to listen to episode 50. Because your why will determine how hard you work at this. And if you want to stay motivated, you have to have a strong why. Because times will be tough. You'll sit there watching your metrics all day and night, and they only go up by one a week. And you're like, man, I just put out a YouTube video and nobody's watching. What? Am I bad? This and that. It takes time. There's no breakout success. You look at some YouTube channels that's up for 5-7 years of constant weekly uploads or daily uploads before something happens. Because everybody's doing it. You have to shine out. So how do I shine? Is what you're asking yourself now? Is by putting out quality content. And you have to put out the best content possible, and you have to be genuine. Genuine, whatever you want to say, you have to be real. You can't put on a persona, because people can tell you're being fake. That's why when I sold phones, people will buy from me. I don't sell. I suck at selling. I would tell them about the phone in and out. I love technology, so I can tell them in and out what this will be good for them. And that's what they loved, that I was honest. And that's what you have to remember. Be genuine and just make it happen. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's a bit longer than my normal ones, but it's because these topics are important. Why? How? What's going to be the next episode? You just have to wait and find out. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.